Welcome to Thursday's Word. This coming Sunday, the gospel lesson is the well-known story of Jesus walking on the water in the midst of the wind and the waves. And as he approaches the boat in which the disciples are making slow progress, Peter and the others see him. They're overwhelmed, but Peter decides that he wants to walk on the water with Jesus. So Jesus invites him out of the boat, and Peter bravely goes. As he gets out on the water and is standing upright, he suddenly realizes where he is. He looks around. Instead of keeping his eyes focused on Jesus, he ends up looking at the wind and the waves and the water beneath him, and he's afraid, and he begins to sink. Jesus lifts him up and scolds him just a little bit once they're back in the boat about his lack of faith. And then the disciples believe that he is indeed the Lord. It's a great story. I know you'll enjoy hearing it again on Sunday. As I was reading some about Matthew 14, I came across this interesting phrase. It is that this story is a quintessential existential portrait of discipleship. Let me say that again. A quintessential existential portrait of discipleship. So I thought to myself, what in the world does that mean? Of course, the word quintessential means a perfect or typical example of something. Existential is a little bit more difficult to define. It is a word that is related to the quality of existence, and particularly the quality of having a will or consciousness. And so to be a quintessential existential example of discipleship means that this story of Peter is a typical example of what it means to be disciples, followers of Jesus, who can exert their own will or make decisions about things. And I think the thing that makes it a quintessential existential portrait of discipleship is that, like us, Peter is willing to step out in faith. But when he's overwhelmed, when he takes his eyes off of Jesus, he begins to sink. He begins to forget who Jesus is and what Jesus can do for him and for the world. And so, my friends, I think that phrase applies to us, that in our lives, we too can be quintessential existential examples of discipleship. And that happens when we trust, we believe, we step out in faith, but we also falter, fall short. And most importantly, Jesus lifts us up and we get to start again, believing even more than before that Jesus is Lord. Have a blessed day.